Hi there, I'm Rick Ellis.
Oh, and I'm Marshall Brickman. We are the composers.
Or,
Here we go.
hi there, Durham. My name is Rick Ellis.
And hi, Raleigh. I'm Marshall Brickman. We are the authors of Jersey Boys. And what's going to happen in Raleigh, Durham, coming up there?
Well,
kiddo?
you know, about 2 years ago, Bob Gaudio, the principal songwriter of the Four Seasons, and one of the producers of Jersey Boys, Ed Strong, who's an alumnus at the university, and I were down in Durham talking about Jersey Boys, and you all came out to see it right after that, October of a couple of years ago, and now we're coming back to Durham with Jersey Boys, and now with Marshall Brickman, who knows more than the rest of us combined,
Yep.
and we're here to tell you, come check out the show again. You liked it a couple of years ago. It's even better now, but you're not going to believe how great this cast is. They're really, really top drawer. And
What was that word?
top drawer.
Y'all?
Y'all. That's Y''ALL.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, in New York, that translates into all of you. But we know that in Durham you speak English as I do, and you can see why it's important to have a collaborator like Marshall Brickman who keeps us honest.
It resonates because of something that Rick was very wise to point out early on when we were trying to think about what the theme of this thing was. And of course, it's about family. It's about your family. It's about your road family. It's about any family that you encounter, whether it's around the water cooler, whether it's on a baseball team or in a musical group. The same dynamics and the same vectors, emotional and otherwise, always play out in a family environment, in a family idea. And
Where a group like the Beatles wrote love songs for girls, and girls were their principal fans. The Seasons wrote songs about girls for guys, and guys were their principal fans. So in the 60s and 70s, the guys who were buying the records, and 175 million records were sold, the guys who were buying the records looked just like the guys who were singing the songs. They were blue-collar guys, high school dropouts, you know, flipping burgers, pumping gas. They were the guys who shipped out and went to Vietnam, as opposed to getting on buses and going down to protest the war like the two of us did, and some other people. But those guys now, these years later, are not your typical musical theater goers, but because the subject was this group that they always identified with, and really identified with and looked like and felt like and responded to, they started coming to see the show. And Jersey Boys has always attracted a much larger group of guys in the theater than your typical musical.
How involved were the original Four Seasons? Well, 3 out of the 4 are still living. Unfortunately, Nick had died in 2000. But we had a certain amount of conversation. They agreed that we were given permission to try and tell the story of their lives, the real story. Then they went away, very wisely. Bob Gaudio, who is a very thoughtful and very rich man, who was one of the Four Seasons, he said, okay, go ahead, do your thing, present it to us when it's ready, and then and the one little codicil, we have the right to pull the plug if we don't like it. But they were very courageous in letting us do that. Everything. I listen to actually the Four Seasons. I listen to Mozart. I listen to Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. I'm a big bluegrass fan. I listen to Glenn Gould playing Bach. I'm an eclectic. I can't come up with anything I really like.
Oh, you know, actually, my iPod's broken, but when it's working, what's on there is, like Marshall, a lot of Four Seasons, a lot of Sammy Cahn. Love the Sammy Cahn sounds. You know, the Rat Pack music from the early '60s, the stuff that I grew up listening to, because in my house, my parents controlled the music, and that was the stuff that they loved, and it rubbed off on me. I love listening to jazz and fusion, and I'm now listening to a lot of jukin music because that's like the hot new craze out of Memphis, and after spending 20 years in advertising and kind of devoting myself to pop culture, I want to know what the new stuff is. So now I'm all about Little Buck and the jukin craze. They're going to try to learn how to do that.
What?
Jookin. Wikipedia.
God, I'm old.
They were just four guys from Jersey until they sang their first note and changed the sound of rock and roll forever. Sherry, baby. Jersey Boys, the Tony Award-winning true life musical phenomenon that takes you behind the music and inside the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Jersey Boys, coming to DPAC beginning April 7th for 1 week only. Visit dpacnc.com for seats.